Hey guys. Can you guys hear me all right? I'm using my other computer. I broke the last one. It's been a crazy week. Had a lot of good stuff going on. No, I'm on my live chat, buddy. Say hi.
Hello.
All right, go do your thing. Come on. Awesome. Cool beans. How you doing? Welcome, guys. Welcome. It's been a great week on vacation. Was down in sunny Florida. Awesome. Thank you. A little bit tan. Florida was quite nice. My wife and I went down there to go visit my mother-in-law, the one we bought the house from. So it was super cool. And then we spent the whole week down there. Went to the beach. Went to Legoland. All kinds of cool stuff. And now I'm back. Thank God. It's just been a great weekend. I love Florida. It would be nice to make a home someday. But, man, I will tell you, it is super cool. I started shooting some content today. We got to, how you doing, guys? Yeah, it's, I've been working on the Z50. And I was doing the wheel bearings and hubs and stuff like that because I got to get that out of here. I got to get that out back so we can continue working on our regular projects. I just got so much stuff in the way. So it has been great. Tell me, guys, have you guys seen the video about the top secret project there? I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. That is going to be super cool. Just tell me what's going on, guys. What are you guys working on? Any fun projects? That's why I love doing this. I'll tell you, it's been a great week. A lot of relaxation, a lot of fun on the beach. And I'll tell you, glad to be back. Much needed rest. Tell you that. We got let's see. Told you the hubs on the Z50. Hoping to get that thing finished off this week. Get it done. Get it started running, driving, and out of here. Get out with the rest of the my herd. And then I'm not restoring the bike at this particular moment in time. I get a lot of people, oh, why don't you paint it all up nice and pretty and all? Nope, not yet. I'm going to be doing, after I get my collection of bikes together and all my bikes are up together and complete, then I'll be doing videos on restoration. I say restoration because I see people and they're building these bikes back to original condition, paint, pristine, everything else. If I did that, I wouldn't want to ride them. I like to enjoy my bikes, so I want to make sure that my bikes are complete and 100%. And then I ride them. I'm going to be doing some restoration stuff on the minis. We'll be doing, not this year, but I'm planning on doing a live videos on restoration projects. So we're going to be starting with my mini bikes because I don't really ride those on the roads and all that. We're going to keep stepping up the channel. Just keep moving it up. And we're going to see how far we can push it and how far we can go with it. And who knows what other bikes are going to be coming in. I challenge myself to not buy any more bikes. Except for stuff that comes in on the scrap, on the trade-ins and stuff like that. So we'll see how all that goes. I have a lot of unfinished projects, and I need to start finishing them off to make them for some really cool stuff. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be changing a lot of things up over the course of this year. Working on t-shirts, working on the ignition systems. I got that is harder than you think. When you come up with a plan or an idea for something, to have it made, you have to mock one up, and so they can get all the precise measurements and all that other stuff. It is really, really challenging, especially when you're doing it from scratch like I am. It's just been, I just needed a break. So it was a much needed break. Some stuff came in for the DS100 that I ordered months ago. As you guys know, shipping's crazy. Everything's just a mess with all that. So I'm still waiting on stuff for that. We got some side covers that came in, the air filter, the brake lever there. No tank yet. I haven't ordered a tank. I got to locate a DS100 fuel tank, and that is going to be a needle in a haystack. I'm not exactly sure which way I want to go with doing that. I might actually just cut the tank in half, sandblast the inside of it, weld it back together, fix all the holes, and call it happy. That's the idea I think I might end up taking on that bike. Just because there is so much rust in it. There's a couple pinholes, and the tank is really, really hard to find. So we're going to do that. So for projects, I got the two LT125s, the DS100, the DS80 out back, my little GT80, Brian's GT80, Elvin, Dave, and what do you call it there? The 400 there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little tired. The driving has been great. Robert's 400, which came out, guys. When you see this tank, I can't wait to show you guys the tank that he sent me up. The tank is beautiful. I gotta get him tire size. He's gonna buy brand new tires. It is going to be awesome. All right, finding an oil tank for my KD 100 is a needle in a haystack. Okay. KD 80, KD 100, and the KM 100, the KM 90 all take the same fuel. All take the same oil tank. Oil tanks are very difficult to get unless you know where to look, and try broaden your horizon, because there is, if you're looking just for that KD 100, it is a needle, especially the 100. There was more 80s than there were 100s. I don't know why that was, but the KM 100 is the same. The KD 80 is the same. They did make a KM 90, but when you type in KM 90 on any of your searches, make sure you put Kawasaki KM 90, because Steel, the chainsaw company, makes a weed whacker that's a KM 90. So if you type in KM 90, that will come up. Not the KM 90 was a dark green color, but it looks like the KM 100, and I'll tell you, really nice looking bike. I wish I could find one. It's like my son's fault. It's like that color green. It's really cool. It's not like a Kawasaki green. It's really cool. Oil tanks in general hard to find. Yeah, they are hard. They are hard, and it's just missing, or is it cracked? Because if it's cracked, you can fix the crack. If it's missing, well, that's a whole different story. If the nipple is missing or broken off, you can fix that too. Which I'll be doing some videos on how to do that. The hole in it, yeah. You could try using some hot glue. Try, like, patching it with the hot glue. If it's a hole, if it's a tiny little hole, hot glue will patch it. What do you call it there? Hot glue, what else can you use? They have a plastic welding kit that you can get. It has a soldering iron to it, and it's got a hole in it. I'm going to buy one. They're pretty cheap, and you load the plastic through the back side of it. Yeah, JB Weld. You can use JB Weld. It's a little harder on plastic, but they do make a plastic welding kit, and it works pretty well. I've seen them. I've seen people use them. I'm going to try one myself, actually, because I have a tank that's a crack in it. I keep all my tanks that go to the bikes. If I have an extra tank, it's allocated to that bike, because for that purpose, if they crack a brake, it's why those are one of the things I do not like to sell. Is oil tanks. They're far and few, and they're hard to find. But yeah, you can fix them. Typically, you can fix them. It is I used one of my oil tanks on Harvey's bike because his bike, they deleted the whole thing, and I wanted to get that all back up to him, and that came out really, really nice. I'll be getting one of those plastic welding kits. I wonder if Harbor Freight sells them. I don't know. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on them because it's not something I use all the time, but it's something I would definitely consider using. A plastic welding kit. I think that'd be pretty neat. Oh, guys, I feel so good to be back. Man, I'm tired. I can't wait to start spinning some wrenches. Hey, Tony. Oil is leaking on this MC90 is coming out where the exhaust pipe needs to head. Exhaust pipe needs to head. What will cause this issue? Well, if it's coming out, there's a leak there. You want to definitely change the. A two-stroke is going to spit oil out the exhaust, and that's because when the piston comes down, you have the exhaust port here and the intake port here. They're opened at the same time. What I would do, first thing I would do, is I would clean my baffle off the tailpipe. So take that all out, clean it all out nicely, replace the donut gasket. It's a copper gasket. It's a crush gasket. I would replace that and then retorque it down and then tighten up the rest of the bolts and try that. If the bike is running fine, it's really not an issue because all two-strokes do it. It's just that's a sealed unit. That's where the bikes get their soot from. It's in the tailpipe. And it makes the packing on the exhaust really, really hard. And that's what causes them to build up and block up, and then they can't breathe. Let's see. Super glue and blasting soda. I mean, for the plastics, the KD100 I picked up has a 12-volt flasher. What happens is people see a flasher and they think they're all universal. They don't even read them. You definitely need a 6-volt flasher on that because it won't work with that. That's not normal. But they look exactly like the 12 volt. So the 6 volt and the 12 volt flashers look the same. They got the same terminals, the same housing. Everything looks the same. However, they're different inside. The electrical windings are different. Very welcome. Yeah, this, let's see. Can I prevent the packing from getting blocked up? You can't. It's a natural thing for them to block up, and it takes it when you clean out the exhaust and you get the whole thing all flowed, all done up. It's one of those maintenance things where you're going to have to eventually keep doing it. You don't have to do it every year. The general thing on the packing, you're welcome, Ryan. The general thing with packing is when it needs to be changed, you change it. You can pick up packing for an exhaust right online. It's not for the KE100. It's universal. So just type in packing, and you'll get the packing material, and you put that around the baffle after you clean it. You have to clean the whole baffle, make sure it's all decarbonized, there's no soot. And what happens is the soot, when it dries, it becomes rock hard. So you have to really, what I do with mine is I take my baffle out and I stick it on a fire or grill and let it just burn all the crap out of it till it's ash. Knock it on something wood, let it all chalk down, and then all the ash comes out. Blow it out with the pressure, and then repack it. You want to pack it the same way you took it off, all the way around, and then you slide it in. And it's a little difficult to do. It takes time. It wants to keep bunching up on you. You're going to be. I use a what do you call it there? A folder, a plastic folder. I wrap it around, cut it down until it goes onto it. Put the pack inside there. Put the folder in there. Push it in, and then slide the folder out, and then it all stays into place. What's that one, Brian? On the I did do a video on packing. I have a video on packing on my KE102. I showed the exhaust. I did a packing on that. I repacked it. It's one of those things, like I said, it's not something that you're going to be doing every year. Um, you'll notice it, you'll know when you need to do it. I let the bike tell me when it needs to be done. You'll know, you'll see, because the exhaust system on these bikes makes or breaks a bike. It's that simple. So what I mean by that is when you hit the throttle and your bike's not performing the way it used to, and you pull the plug and the plug looks good and everything's good, your air filter's good, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Chances are your exhaust is plugged up, your baffles. Remember, these bikes, these exhaust systems that are on these bikes, they're on-road two-stroke exhaust. They're not off-road two-stroke exhaust, meaning they have baffles, barriers, and all kinds of stuff that's inside there. And hold on a second, let me stop the screen. All kinds of wall. So instead of the expansion chamber where it comes up out of the pipe that comes off the end, off the cylinder, it expands and then compresses again and then goes back like an expansion chamber. These don't do that. They expand, they hit a wall, and it's all turbulence in there. So that's where you lose your power. Now, I did a video on customizing your own, using your exhaust system. I did a one where I took the baffles out, and you can see the shape of it, and now it compresses and goes back. And that's the exhaust system I'm using on my KDE 90, which is a bike that I made. It's not really a bike. So if you look up KDE 90, you're not going to find it. If you look it up on my channel, you'll find it. It's my bike. It's a KE 100 lower end with a GS3 90 cc cylinder, CDI ignition, and that crazy exhaust, which I can't wait to finish that thing. That thing's powerful, and it's got the regular tip into it with the packing on that. That right there is going to make some power. You can make power with these bikes if you take what you got and build them that way. So the way it is, it's hitting the wall. The exhaust is hitting the wall, and I showed that in that video because there's two wall barriers, and the exhaust has to go up through the hole, down through, back up, and into the baffle and out the tailpipe. The modification I did, I took those two walls out, and the shape of it comes up wide and then compresses at the end. That's what you want. You want a nice smooth transition. So basically, in a nutshell, I took a factory exhaust system and made it into an expansion chamber, which was nice. It worked out quite well. And the bike sounds terrific and has plenty of snap to it. And I was able to jet it a little bit more. Yeah, it's very common that they don't clean it because a lot of people don't know two strokes like I do or like we do. We get into them, Thank you, Larry. It's just they don't understand how it all works and how the fundamentals of it are because they're so used to a four-stroke or a motocross bike. See, one of the biggest difference between a two-stroke on-road and a two-stroke motocross bike is the fundamentals, the exhaust system. The exhaust system makes all the power. You see that cool pipe and it comes twisting way around. It's just a big expansion chamber, goes into a tiny little hole, and you're like, wow, why can't I put one of those on my bike? You can't because your bike was designed with the transfer ports, the way the air induction is. If you had something like that on your bike, like a big expansion chamber, so you changed the head to fit, and you made all kinds of brackets and put one of those big FMH pipes on there, you're actually going to lose power because it wasn't designed that way. You know what I mean? It's not going to gain power. It's going to lose power because it's too much expansion and not enough compression. The engine doesn't have that type of output to make that type of power. So what do? Are we stuck? Do we do nothing? No. There is modifications that you can do. You can make an exhaust system like I did a video a while back. I still got to finish it. I haven't even got a chance to finish it. And we're going to do it this spring. My brother's going to be doing the welding on the bike. I made that custom exhaust expansion chamber out of a moped exhaust, aftermarket exhaust system. And we made it. It's a small chamber, and I got a lot of flack for it because the pipe going up to it is too long, they said. Kevin, that pipe's not going to work. It's too long. But if you measure the pipe, it's the same length pipe as the one that is on the KE100 now. So yes, it will work. It'll work just fine because timing is correct. And then it goes into the expansion chamber. It's a lot shorter this way than long, as the OEM exhaust. Basically, when it compresses, it's going to be doing it a little quicker. So it's going to produce more power. And then you can look at that other exhaust that I got for the KE100 that I'm going to be using when I did the packing on. That is an actual expansion chamber made for the KE100. Made for that. Literally, it was made for that bike. So that's a factory exhaust, and I'm going to try to replicate it at some point before I put it on the bike. So I'd like to build a couple of them. It's really, really cool. All these modifications with the exhaust, keep in mind, when you modify your exhaust, you're going to have to jet your carburetor for bigger jets because it's going to take in more fuel and air. And when that happens, it's going to create a lean condition unless you jet. So you want to jet. You want to jet that bike. It's very important. And of course, when you do that, when you're playing around with getting more power out of these bikes and you're changing your jets, you're changing your timing on your rotary valve, you're changing your jetting, you're changing your air filter assembly, you're really making some monster power. Now, I left out something. A lot of people are like, how come you didn't bore it out? Because you don't need to. The two-stroke engine, you want to keep it where it's efficient. On a four-stroke engine, bore it as big as you can. Put the biggest valves in it, the biggest cam. You want to suck as much air and fuel into this thing as possible. Two-strokes don't run like that. Two-strokes use actually both sides of the piston. So depending upon the size of your transfer ports going up on top of your piston, it's going to determine if you really, boring it out really ain't going to do nothing. Because you can only put so much fuel and air mix through those transfer ports. So, yeah, you can go a little bit bigger, but if you're not going to change transfer ports or port them, which I'll be doing videos on as well, I'm going to be doing a Monster Power series on the channel. I think that would be a great way to teach you guys how to get more power out of your little bikes. I'm just kind of wrapping up. I pretty much have been through every aspect of the KE100s, the KMs, the KDs, and all that. I kind of touch base on every aspect of these bikes already. Now, what we're going to do is going to be working on the bikes that we have to finish up. And then after that, I'm going to introduce some power series. So some of the series I want to do with the channel to grow the channel, some restoration stuff, and I want to do some power stuff because everybody asks me the power stuff. Now, I got a lot of people asking me about 12 volts versus 6 volts, CDI versus points. The bikes they're old. That's the vintage bikes. We have to take what we have and work with it. With that said, we're going to take these bikes and we're going to bring them up step by step. And I'm going to show you guys the proper way of doing it because there's a lot of improper stuff out there. Watching some on vacation. I was watching some channels, and I'm not going to explain what channels I watched, but I watched some guys do some stuff to try to make more power out of the bikes. And let me tell you something. These bikes are not going to last long. They have done so much stuff that was wrong that I'm kind of going to touch on when I'm doing my videos because I'm watching these bike build videos on two strokes, and what they're trying to do, I get what they're doing. They're trying to take four-stroke technology and implement it on a two-stroke engine, and they don't understand how the two-stroke fully works. And I think that's the problem behind what they're trying to do. And they did a couple of things right, but then they killed it where they didn't jet it properly. And then the bike runs, it sounds super awesome on the video. And I'm like, wow, that's making some good power, but it's really lean, you know? I'm like, yeah, that's good for video. And then after it's all done and they ride that bike for a little bit, that thing's going to burn up quick. I wouldn't want to be that guy. So I'm going to teach you guys the proper ways of doing jetting. Jetting, even on a factory bike, you can get a little bit more power out of your bikes just by changing a jet. Point exactly. I'll give you this one. These bikes are set up for emissions. Okay, the KE100 on average has a 75 or 74.5 jet, 74.5 jet. Okay. When you look in the book, you see other KE100s, the newer ones, have an 80 jet. Why does the 1996 to 2001 have an 80 jet and everything below that has a 77.5? Is it the CDI? That wouldn't affect it. So why? Is the cylinder bigger? No. There is no difference between the exhaust systems are the same, the cylinders are the same, the pistons are the same, the rotary valve is the same, the carburetor is the same. Literally everything is the same. So why did they put a bigger jet? Why did they go to an 80? Because the bike can handle an 80. It can actually handle a little bit more than an 80. So what they did, I see what they did. They start off with a small jet. Bikes run great, has plenty of power to scoot you around. Well, now we're putting CDIs on our bikes. What can we do to just get a little bit more oomph out of it and kind of push the rest of these bikes out of here? Well, let's throw a little bigger of a jet in there, give the guys a little more power, and it'll be good. Be right in the emissions window, and we'll be happy. So that's what they did. They threw an 80 in there. They went from a 77.5. That's what the jet was. They went from a 77.5 to an 80, and out the door it went. They didn't change anything on the bike. They just changed the jet. Gives you a little bit more power. So if you had a 96 and you were racing a 95, the 96 is going to go faster. Same horsepower though. I think their ratings are a little bit off. I don't think they ever put that bike on a dyno, to be honest with you. But they claim it's got 11 horsepower. Okay. You want to get power out of your bike? I'm going to show you guys how to do that. In fact, I'll be doing some videos on that on the spring because I'm changing the exhaust tip on my KE100 to a KM100 exhaust or a KD80 exhaust tip. Basically what that is it goes into a smaller hole, a smaller output. Why does that give more power? Because it makes the exhaust expansion chamber work better. When you think of a motorcycle, a Harley Davidson, a Virago, or anything like that, the first thing they do is they put bigger pipes on it, and it's got a bigger hole in the back, and it's like, boom, 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 and again, it's got a ton of more power. Oh, why don't we put a bigger exhaust tip on my dirt bike and get more power out of that? I could just take the baffle right off and run it straight. I don't care, I'm out in the woods. Because you're going to lose power. Because the exhaust systems on these bikes are what makes these bikes powerful. When you take that exhaust off or you take the baffle out, you're actually losing power. It'll sound great, but you're losing power. I have people saying to me, Kevin, but I took the tip off my bike and actually gained power. That's because you're leaning your bike out and you're going to end up burning it up. So when a bike leans out, it makes stupid power. The problem is with that is when it leans out, it's burning up. Then you end up with a bike that the motor has to come apart and be completely gone through because you just ruined it. And I see this all the time. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's literally like a cutting torch. When you think of lean, when you have a oxygen and acetylene torch, you have to adjust the oxygen and the acetylene to get the 3 fingers to cut through steel, okay? The bike literally does that inside the cylinder. It will literally melt a piston when it gets lean. And it's really scary when it happens because your bike just dies and you don't know what happened. Oh, you go to kick it over. Wow, this thing doesn't feel like it has any compression. It ran fine like 10 minutes ago. I didn't do nothing to the bike. What's going on with my bike? Why I have no power? You leaned it out. But all I did was take my exhaust tip off. How did that ruin my bike? It's an exhaust. Because now, instead of compressing and all that and keeping some of the fuel in there from leaning out, everything went right out the tailpipe. The carburetor was sucking more air and fuel than it can handle, or more air than it can handle for the jet, and it burnt it up. That's what happens. 75 GT G4 TRE. I don't have the muffler exhaust. Should I replace with the OEM or try to find an aftermarket? Yes, you should try to find the OEM if you're not jetting it. If you can find an aftermarket exhaust, you're going to have to jet your carburetor. You have to make sure about that, because if you don't and you put it on there, the bike is going to run great until you start driving it, and then you about 20 to 30 minutes into it, you're just going to lose power, and then it's too late. You're going to be having a meltdown on the motor, not you. Well, you're going to have a meltdown because your bike just went down, but you know what I mean. You want to make sure if you can get the original exhaust, go for it. If you're not doing any modifications. So these are all big things. You want to make sure that you get the proper stuff for your bikes, because that's what keeps these bikes running properly. If you can get them, definitely. 75. I actually had a 75 exhaust system, and on a bike that I just robbed some parts off of, and man, that pipe is just rotted right out. I have another exhaust system from a Suzuki that I'm going to be using on the Kawasaki, and I'll be showing you guys that from a TC90, and I really like it. It's one of those. It's got a really cool baffle to it, and it's a little shorter. Same exhaust pipe coming up. Almost the same mounting holes, very, very close, and it's going to make a little bit more power on the KE100s. Excuse me. So I'll be showing that pretty soon. What do you call it there? The KM, the KD, they don't have the same baffles as the KE100s. They make a lot more power because of the shape. So instead of the KE comes up, it expands a little bit, and then comes straight back. The KM is a fatter pipe, so it actually comes up and comes down at the same time. It's a much more narrower. So, oh, you're not late. You're always on time. We're just talking about exhausting things. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, you want to make sure that whenever you're doing an exhaust system, you make sure you get the baffle and the tip, the whole entire thing from where it bolts to the engine to the tip. You want to make sure you have all that on there. Because like I said, you can lose some power doing that. Sorry, I'm tired. One of the other things you're going to want to do, too, is I have a lot of people asking about ignition. Also, I keep leaving it out because it's not something that always goes. But I had someone said to me they changed their points and condenser and the spark plug. The spark is intermittent and it's not quite right. They changed the ignition coil and it's still not right. And they changed the tip, and that was it. The tip that goes on top of your spark plug, that actually has a resistor in there. So if you have a bike with intermittent spark, or it keeps what do you call it there? Your bike kind of like winds down and then perks back up. You can try changing your coil tip. Sometimes that burns out. It is a resistor in there, and once again, these bikes are old. They don't really always go, but sometimes they do. There is a resistor in there. So the way it works, if you have a point ignition, you're using a black lettered plug, the resistor is actually built in to the boot, the spark plug boot. I'm going to be doing some more videos on all that. You want to make sure that, how you could tell, you unscrew the boot and hold the wire right close to the block, and you'll see the spark jumping, and you're like, okay, that's my problem, my boot. So I'm going to be showing that on another video. We're going to be talking about reed valves too. A lot of people are talking about reed valves. Kevin, what's the best reed valves? That sort of thing for different bikes. I'm going to be getting into those videos. I'm going to be showing that on video. I don't want to get into that tonight. I'm Florida lagged. Man, I want to go back on that beach. But I'm going to be showing videos on that as well. I want you guys to understand that we're doing these bikes section by section. It is a very, I'm trying to gauge what you guys need for content based upon your comments that are on the page and video and all that type of stuff. Like when you guys text me or email me or whatever the case may be. I don't always get my emails. I'm really not at the computer as you would think I would be. Typically I'm on my phone, and that's the best way. But I'm trying to gauge what most content you guys need. Is it more ignition? Is it more carburation? Is it more, general bike? And I think that's I'm going to, Larry, after I get off with you guys at 9. I wanted to make sure I did a Wheelie Wednesday because I didn't get to do Two-Stroke Tuesday, and it was just like I came back and I dropped. We drove from Massachusetts to Florida, 1,400 miles, and I drove 1,400 miles back. And let me tell you guys something. I ran into some serious weather down there and on the way back. On the way back, we had a snowstorm. On the way down, we had an ice storm, rain, all the way from New York to Florida. And we drove right through a major storm, accidents all the way around. It's just been crazy. So I'm a little tired, a little fatigued, but I'll be all right. But I just want, like I said, I want to see what you guys need for content so I can make these videos. I tried to touch on all the parts of the bike, every aspect of it. What do you call it? No, I'm not kidding. It was bad. And in fact, I had Larry. I'll tell you something. All you guys, I ruined 2 rims on my cars, on my car this week. On the way down, I hit a pothole. It was more of a crater. I hit a crater, dented the rim, put a bubble in the sidewall. I ended up driving it anyway. It was fine. On the way back up through New York, hit another crater, and then dented the rim. Blew the tire out. Now I got to have 2 rims replaced and 2 tires, and it was crazy. Oh, thank you. No, I just needed a break. I needed to, every now and then you got to cut loose and just I'm getting overwhelmed with everything. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm a one-man show, and we weren't. And right now I'm not working, so I'm not making any money. I am basically my wife is working. I'm homeschooling my little guy, and so that's how we have it. So I'm not used to this whole COVID crap that's going on. So my mother-in-law said, "Why don't you guys come down here for Andrew's on some school vacation for a week? Why don't you guys come down here for the week?" And so we had an opportunity, we took it. See an opportunity, take an opportunity, do it. So that's what I ended up doing, and it was a much-needed vacation. I am 44 and never been on vacation. This was my first week vacation I've ever taken, and I love it. I've gone on weekend vacations, leave on a Friday night, come back Sunday night, but that's not really a vacation. It's like a quick recharge and then your batteries don't ever get fully charged. So it was really nice to do that, to have that. And then I had some time to think about, how I want to move forward with the channel. The channel is growing at a crazy rate, and I really, really love it. The support has been awesome, and it has been. This channel is a blessing. You guys are a blessing. You guys are great, and the support and the love that I get from the channel has been outstanding. I couldn't even try to complain if I wanted to. So I want to make sure that I'm doing it. How are we going to do it? How are we going to get from point A to point B? And it's just, and I don't want to go too quick because I don't want to blow this thing out of the water. I want to come up nicely, nice breed. You come up too fast, then there's too much on your plate. You want to kind of. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ryan. I try. Honestly, I look at you guys how I look at bikes when I was a younger person. I love these things, and I know you guys love these things. And this whole channel is set up by my son, Michael. Okay, like I said before, you guys heard it. I didn't want to do a channel. I didn't want to do a YouTube channel. Why would I want to do a YouTube channel? And then, and I really never even. I watched a couple of funny videos. I used to watch the fail videos, Fail Army. And that was pretty much my YouTube thing. And my son Michael says, Dad, you got to do a YouTube channel. Why? And he's like, because nobody's doing what you're doing. Oh, there's got to be a ton of people doing it. And there wasn't. And there was an opportunity. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is an opportunity for me to share my knowledge with the world and then take it to different levels and have some fun with it. So he set me up. I'm not computer savvy. And we started doing it and playing around with it, and then there we are. And one of the ways I wanted to get back was doing this live chat because nobody else was doing live. Nobody does live. I'm like, wow, how come nobody does live? This would be a great opportunity. We got a nice little crowd together, talk bike, talk problems, talk, fix things, answer questions. Let's do it. So, like I said, I wanted to do it in 4,500. We ended up doing it a little sooner. And now we're up to 5,302 subscribers. That's a blessing to me, honestly, I didn't think this channel was even going to hit 1,000. Okay, I really didn't. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and now I see where it's going, and it's going at a good speed, and it's a manageable speed. It's not over the top. I got these people. I watch some YouTubers. Like, oh, I've got 1 million subscribers. Thank you guys. Okay. How do you deal with 1 million subscribers? I wouldn't know what to do with that. Like, what do you do with 1 million subscribers? You be there all day answering comments, and they don't answer half their people. So, what's the point in that? You know what I mean? Where's the connection with your subscribers? I have to do a video on how I got to 5,000 subscribers. I got to be doing that, guys. You're going to be seeing that video. Please watch it anyway, even though you guys know how we did it. But I want to put that out there, how I got to this point. And it's because of you guys. That's how it is. How you doing? Hi, Gianna, my niece. And, I want to explain to people how we got to this point, because growing a YouTube channel it's hard. It's not easy growing a YouTube channel. And I don't have all the backing. Look, Gianna's on. You can say hi to Gianna.
Hello, Gianna.
But, growing a channel is not an easy thing. It takes time. It takes patience. It's I don't have a whole camera crew in back of me with a green screen and all this crazy stuff. So what we do is I just shoot real. What you guys get, what you guys see is what you get. You guys are really getting hands-on mechanics. And hi, Anthony. It's what do you call it there? It's one of those things where you guys are getting the real deal, And my camera is on my phone. That's what I'm using, my Samsung. You can say hi to Anthony.
Hello, Anthony.
So I'm just using, this is it, my tripod. This stays on my tripod, and then I use my fingers, go like this, zoom in, zoom out, try to get, make sure that I'm always, if you see me in my video and I'm kind of going back like this, that's because I'm making sure that you guys can see what I'm doing where I want you to, but I don't have a crew. I'm using, what do you call it there? Microsoft, what do you call it there? Movie Maker. And putting the lettering in there and taking my clips and putting them together, but I don't cut anything out. So when I mess up, you guys see it. And for me, that's keeping it real, because even as a professional mechanic, even I make mistakes. So I want you guys to know that it's okay to mess up. It's perfect. It's fine. That's what we do. We're humans. And I put that in there because the content that I put out is 100% real content, period. No special effects, no craziness, just real content. And when we're working on these bikes, we're doing it together. I'm your wing guy. You're doing the work. You're fixing these bikes with your hands, your own tools, and I am just guiding you. And that's where I want it. That's what I like. I'm basically right in there with you guys working on your bikes. Period. That's it. I'm right there with you. I talked to a couple people on the phone, and they're like, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity." I don't care if you guys call me. I'll call you. Just send me a number if you need me to talk. And that's what I do. And I always try to make sure that I contact you guys and we talk and we have that dialogue, and I can answer your questions and give you guys an angle. The other thing I get is people asking me, "Kevin, where do I go with this bike? How do I do this?" And I give them, you start here, do A, B, and C. Oh, I did A, B, and C. Okay. Then I give them a few other things. And everything I tell them to do, they supposedly already done, where I know they didn't do it all. Or they don't, or something seems a little too hard for them, and they don't want to admit that they didn't do it. So then I feel like, okay, well, the bike should be running. I don't know what to tell you. And they get a little bit upset. It's hard to diagnose a bike or go through a problem over the phone or through text message. So I'll ask them strategic questions about the bike, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's this, if it's doing this, okay. So all right, well, if it's doing this, then you need to do that." And then, "Oh, I did that." Well, you might want to try going over that one more time. I'm not trying to shoot you guys down. I want you guys to follow me step by step. If you follow me step by step, I personally know that the bike will run. You see what I'm saying? So that's where we're at with that. We want to make sure that we go step by step by step. What's the cause? Let's fix it. And off we go, So that's where we're at with that. Once again, we're just going to keep going. And if you guys have a video that you guys need me to shoot or talk about or bring up, by all means, please let me know what you guys need, or want, what you want to see more. Do you want to see more carburation videos? I feel like I can never talk enough about carburetors. And every time I talk about carburetors, someone says to me, "Kevin, I just learned so much more." And it's like, I could do a whole series on just carburetors, Over the summer, we're going to be doing a series called Mini Bike Mondays. Mondays, we're going to be doing a little bit of trickery with the bikes and doing that sort of thing. It's not going to be every Monday, probably like once a month on a Monday, Mini Bike Monday. And I'm going to try to break up the bikes because I'm up to like 16 bikes right now. And trying to break them all up into categories because I want to make sure I hit on every different size, make, model, all that type of stuff. So I want to make sure I get those out there, that content. And I'm going to be doing some comparison videos because a lot of stuff that is done on the Kawasaki's is also done on the Hondas. I would like to see a video on Chinese knockoff carbs versus OEM. That is a great idea. That is a great idea. That is a beautiful idea. Chinese carburetors I use myself. They are cheap. You can get them and they do last. The problem with any carburetor is today's fuel. That's the part that people don't understand with the fuel. Ethanol. Ethanol is corn oil. Corn oil is from a plant. Plants need water. So the fuel goes bad because it's trying to attract water, condensation, and that's what turns it bad. Excuse me. The Chinese carburetor knockoffs I have a big problem with. One of them is their jets. None of their jets are marked. You don't know what you get. In fact, some carburetors are so bad, they send you with a second pack of jets that are bigger, and you still don't know what the size is because it's not printed on there or etched or engraved or however you want to put it, stamped. So that's a good one. In fact, I'm going to buy a Chinese knockoff carburetor. I'll probably do that next month when I get my YouTube money. Next month, I will buy a Chinese knockoff carburetor, and I have a nice OEM carburetor sitting in the drawer. I will do the comparison between the two. We'll tear them apart. We'll go through them and show you guys. And I'm also going to show you guys how to get more out of your carburetor than you think. There's a lot to the factory carburetor or Chinese carburetor if you want. That has been untouched. And there is some modifications that you can do to that carburetor to really get some power out of it. So we're going to be talking about that, what works, what don't. We're going to be talking about changing fuel mapping. That's what I call it, fuel mapping, and how it's introduced into the engine. So that's going to be another one too. Air intakes, that sort of thing. There's a lot of information. What do you use the Chinese knockoff carb on the original? You can't. The Chinese knockoff carburetor is basically set up for the Suzuki. It's the same carburetor, it'll fit right onto it, but the bowl is definitely different because it's got the plug on the front. What I did on my KE 102 build, I actually, the little rubber plug at the bottom, because you only have one nipple instead of two. On the one, there's one nipple coming off the bottom of the carburetor, goes into that rubber mount, and then the hole next to it, I just filled that in with some hot glue, and it worked out great. That way it drains out the bottom. The Chinese knockoff carburetors have that screw for the drain for the bowl. That is the best thing you can possibly have ever on a bike, is a drain plug at the bottom of a carburetor. All my bikes, when I put them away, I have to take the bowl off, drain it, let the air get to it, blow them off a little bit, and then put the bowl back on. When you have 16 bikes, that is a lot of work to put all those bikes away. Kevin, I am changing the pulse generator on an 83 Honda. It basically plug and play, no timing adjustment, just to fix coils. I believe they're just fixed coils. And that should be on the back side on the cover, like when you take the case off. You get your flywheel, and then I believe there's two of them right on the top. I can take a look at that. I have the Magnum book. Yeah, that wouldn't be adjustable because you wouldn't be able to adjust it because you'd have to literally put the cover on, move it back and forth. So yeah, that's fixed. That is a great bike, the Magna 65, the V65. That's a good motor. Tell me about your G80. Which one? I got a few of them. I got the red GT80 that we're making. You're welcome, Larry and Corey. 73 MX80. Oh, nice. Yep. We have Brian's bike. He gave me a bike. I've got one out back. I took the Harvey Spooner one apart for my red bike, which is now all complete. I'm putting the gauges on there. The yellow one with a bunch of mods. Okay, so the yellow one with a bunch of mods is all completely taken apart. That bike is actually now the red bike. Okay, so I took my, if you look at my GT80, the one with all the modifications with the cylinder head and all that, that is actually on my red frame now. So that's the red bike. I put the tachometer drive in there from the RX80, the cylinder head, high compression cylinder head. Let's see. Oh, geez, we did all kinds of stuff. The CDI ignition. That bike is going to be back in to the shop after we get all the other bikes are gone. We'll be doing that over the summer. I have a gauge cluster from a RX, what do you call it there? RX50. It's got the tachometer, the speedometer, all the lights on there for the low oil and all that. We're going to be putting that all on there. That's a fun little bike. That is a cool little bike. And we're going to be doing some more trickery on that bike. That is not done. So it's got, we did the compression, the high compression. I have a different exhaust system for it. There's two exhausts, the MX80 and the GT80. One's on-road, one's off-road. I try not to sell my parts because of shipping right now. Shipping's been an absolute nightmare for me. And I have other bikes that I use the parts on, so I really don't know what I have available for extra parts. I will be doing, if you keep watching, there will be, what do you call it there? There will be some stuff. What I would say, Phil, is text me, and we'll see what you need. And if I have the extra, we'll work something out. Okay? I don't overcharge. I never do that. That's not what this, I don't do it that way. Everything I do is straightforward. You're gonna have to be patient with shipping, but I don't overcharge people for parts. I don't believe in it because I wouldn't want to overpay for stuff. A carb, yeah, I don't have any carbs. But if you do have a carb, I can fix yours because I do have parts for carburetors, not brand new. They're used. I have the ultrasonic cleaner, and I can make you a good carburetor if you have one. So. Cool. Yep. So you can, yeah, text me and we'll, we call it there. We'll work that out. I did not finish the KE102. The KE102 is, what do you call it there? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just send me what you got, and I'll see what I can do. The KE102 is not done because I got a plethora of bikes in between that build. The frame's painted. I haven't even got the swing arm on. I got the gauges on it, and that's pretty much it. It's been back burner so bad, and it's killing me because I want to ride my bike. I want to get the thing done.
Is here to say hello then? Hello.
Okay. Yeah. Don't keep doing that, buddy.
Can I have a sack?
Yes. Go ahead. So that's been a back burner. Actually, all my bikes have been a back burner. This bike right here I got from Harvey Spooner. The only reason why I'm doing a Z50 right now is because literally it's been in my way. And I'm just trying to get the bike complete so I can push it out back. What do you call it there? I have, let's see. That's Andrew. He's my youngest. Michael is my oldest one. He's what do you call it, 16. He's the one who started this channel, Michael. And Andrew's my mini me. But yeah, it's been I got to get that out of the air, the Z50, and I got to get my DS80 out. My DS100 put together with the parts and pieces. It's not gonna be finished, but I'm just gonna put what I have for parts and pieces onto it and get that out back there with the rest of them too. And then we'll get back to that one. That'll be another back burner. I've got a lot of back burner projects, and they're all mine. And then all the stuff that's in, what do you call it there? Brian's bike is going to be epic. So Brian sent me, I'll just briefly talk about that one. Sent me the same cylinder head that I have on my GT80, and I have to cut that the same way. modify that to put that onto his bike. He wants me to make a sleeper bike out of it. So the blue GT80 is his bike, and we are literally going to be tearing that thing up. He sent me some money so I can have the stuff machined and ported and bored out, new piston. We're going to go through the thing. Gaskets. He sent up a plethora of parts for the thing. Everything from new brakes, tire, tube, sprockets, chain. I mean, we're going to go mental on this bike. And so, yeah, there's going to be some fun on that bike. It's still a 72cc. It's not really an 80, but we can get 80 power out of it with some of these modifications. So I'm pretty confident and happy with that. His bike is definitely going to be nice. The yellow bike, my GT80, Phil, that you were inquiring about, I completely stripped that bike down to just a frame. And so I got the tank hanging up in there. You'll see that in the shed, hanging up with the oil tank. And then I put all those parts onto the red bike. Brian gave me the other red GT80 that he had, the parts bike. He didn't need it, doesn't want it. So I'm going to be using the parts from the yellow bike onto the red bike. And that's going to be another GT80, but it's going to be with all the lights and all the fixings, or I might just do an off-road version of it, of an MX80. The MX80 and the GT80 are the same bike. They are a blast, bulletproof as well, absolutely. And the thing is with this motor is the GT80, the MX80, the RX50, the YZ50, the YZ80, early, depends upon what year you get, all have the same family.
Can you open that up?
It's all the same engine family. And hey, it is open. It's all the same engine family, so you can. That's how I was able to put the tachometer drive from the RX 50 into the GT80, and now I'm going to have a tachometer on my GT80. So I mean, I haven't seen a GT80 with a tachometer. This is pretty cool. It's going to have a whole Yamaha gauge cluster. So that's pretty cool, I think. And then all the lights and all the gauges, you'll see the directionals in there. So I'm basically making a full street bike out of it. Oh, nice. Yep, 5-speed swapping. Yep. Yeah, you can easily do that. Great bike to do that on, too. And you can change the gear ratios with the transmissions. I try not to do that too much because I like to keep the same. If I break something, I want to have it, with what I got. But yeah, you can do so much with these little bikes. It's crazy what they're capable of. And I think that's one of the fun things for me is what they're capable of. You never, you just don't know until you really start researching and getting into it. Yeah, the YZ80. Yep. Great motor. Great motor. And the parts are interchangeable. They're plentiful. And when you start getting into all these different bikes, same with the Kawasaki's, learn the bikes families, because they're not just going to make these one parts for this one bike, unless they're going to mass produce it. It's not economical for them to do that. So what they do is they mass produce the parts, and they go into different bike families. To explain the tach, yes, the tachometer drive, where the what do you call it there? There is a spot inside the case for a gear. It's a white plastic gear, and it's kind of on the right side in the middle, and it has a little shaft that sticks up and a little screw part, and the cable screws onto it, and then a cable goes up to the tachometer. It's a real simple system, just like on the KE100s, but it's from the RX50. And the RX50 motor is the same family, and that whole gear assembly fit right into that GT80 motor. And that's basically all it is like I said, it's a shaft with a gear on it, and it has another little one gear spins this way, the other one spins the opposite this way, and drives the shaft, turns the cable, turns the tachometer, and then it reads the engine RPM. So pretty cool. It's not electronic. It's old school, like our bikes. Primitive, but it works with the cable. So we got that. We have a Suzuki 250 two-stroke, two-cylinder. We're going to be working on as well. I'm going to be doing some videos on that. I have it out back, and I have never heard it run. In fact, I don't know anything about it. So we're going to learn that one together. That's going to be fun. We're going to bolt that down to something and fire it off. About your KE 10-speed conversion, would you have the part? It's the same thing. Basically, all I did with the KE 102 to make it a 10-speed is I used the G4 TR transmission, output shaft, and I had to have my case bored out, bigger seal, so I had to have that ground out, and use the bigger bearing on my engine case, and then to accommodate for the my engine itself, my KE 102 engine already had the bosses to bolt that whole cover onto it. So basically, all I had to do was bore out the bearing spot and the seal spot, and then that whole transmission fit right onto that. It's the G4 TR and the KV 100 have the same transmissions, so it was really easy to do. In fact, I have videos on that of what I did to that. So how would I add that to it? You'd have to take apart your engine case, split the case, and put that drive mechanism in there. Yeah, it is. The mechanical is the best way to go. I like the mechanical. You know what you're getting, and you don't have any room for error, really. I mean, unless your tachometer itself is bad. But for the most part, they work pretty well. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same transmission with the high and low gear. But I'm not using, like your bike has the cable up at the handlebar. I'm not using that. It's going to have a foot. I can just kick it back with my foot. And I'm going to put a detent in there with a lever. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. That's going to be a little different than probably what you're used to seeing, but it'll be with your foot instead of having another cable. I have enough cables on the bike. I put, instead of having my choke down bottom where you pull it up, that's a cable on top of the handlebar, so I can kick it. I don't want it to bend down. That's basically how I designed that bike to be as easy as possible to do. I don't like the throttle, the high and low with the lock. I don't like that. It just doesn't feel. I don't like that. That button. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, that's going to be. You'll check out the bike. When I bring the bike in during the spring to go through it and put that gauge set up on there, I'll be going through all that again. But that's all on my videos on my GT80 and the MX80s on there with the tachometer drive, which is a lot of fun. I mean, it's that bike right there. I got that. They messed up the shift mechanism, which is why I got the bike. The bike wouldn't shift. And they tried welding it back together, and they didn't align anything. It was all bent to heck. It was like they power shifted with it. So for those who don't know what power shifting is basically they got the thing in gear, let the clutch out, throttled it, and instead of using the clutch, they kept kicking the shifter, and it broke. They're not designed for that. And hammered the hell out of it. That's what I call a hammerhead. I power shift all my gears. I even downshift that way. Dude, you're driving a vintage bike. Ride it properly. Use the clutch. Not using the clutch actually hurts transmissions. I don't care how good of a motorcyclist you are. Yeah, anybody can upshift and downshift without a clutch. Not a problem. But you're not doing it, and you can't see it. Sometimes you don't even hear it. But what happens is there's dogs. They call them dogs, and what they are is this: you get your gear here, and then there's these little they call them dogs that stick off. The gear next to it has the holes in the side of it, and those dogs have to fit into it. When you power shift your bike, you're not taking it out of power. So this with the dogs on it is still under power, and it's slamming into those holes to turn that gear. What happens is the edges of the dogs, instead of being a straight 90, now they're starting to wear round. When that happens, the bike typically, one of the signs of that is the bike comes out of gear a lot. It won't stay in gear, and you kind of have a grinding noise going into it, because what happens is now that they're rounded, it's a round piece trying to go into a squared hole. So it doesn't want to go into gear. And the only reason why you get it into gear is because the RPM's matched. So it is never a good idea to power shift any bike, not even a car. Use the clutch. That's what it's there for, is to take the transmission out of power so the gears can mesh properly, and then you put the power back onto it, and then it grabs and goes. So they didn't do that. They power shifted, they kicked the hell out of the shifter to get it into gear. And when they did that, it wreaked havoc. The rotary valve made from... They have different companies make different rotary valve materials. I don't remember the company that I was recently looking at. I don't know what the material is, but it was a completely round disc, completely round. And what you do is you cut your timing out yourself. There's going to be some stuff. I'm going to be doing some stuff on that. I personally like the steel one. The steel one is a very strong, robust rotary valve. It's been around for a very long time, and you can trim it a little bit for where you want it. I am going to be showing, excuse me. I'm going to be showing some modifications on how to do that, and a little bit of rotary valve trickery. Because there was some stuff that you can do with that rotary valve that is pretty cool. Not a whole lot, but what you do, it makes a lot of power. Have a good night, Larry. I'll see you next week. Definitely, it's just these bikes have so much potential, and because of government standards and regulations, that they're really dummied down, and that really, that's why everybody compares them to a motocross bike, and then they get on a motocross bike and like, wow, this is way faster. Motocross versus on-road is night and day. The motocross off-road is not subject to any emissions, period. So they can do straight power. That's where they get their power. Is they can massively make these engines really pump out some massive power, big, massive transfer ports, what have you, So don't do that, buddy. They can really make some massive power. And to do that on a KE, that's going to be very difficult. Put that back in the refrigerator, please.
All right.
Yeah, so you can make some massive power with that. Massive, massive, massive power. But I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks that you guys can do on your little bikes to make them work. It's almost time for bed, buddy.
I know.
Okay.
I see the time.
All right. So, yeah, it's been, I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of rambling here. I'm just exhausted. It's been a crazy week. But I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me and coming to Wheelie Wednesday. Next week, we'll probably be doing it on Two-Stroke Tuesday again. And we're going to have, when you see the content, there's a lot of content I'm going to be putting out this week. There's going to be a lot more to talk about, building and doing all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. Phil, put this on here. You can text me. There you go. Okay. You can text me pictures of the cob, and we'll work on that, Phil. I always try to do that, you know. Oh, you're welcome. No problem. Oh, you're very welcome, Jesus. You know, like I said, if you guys have anything you guys really want to see, by all means, please let me know in the suggestions, because in the comments, because it helps me develop, content for what you guys want to see. Right now, I just want to get that Z50 out of my way. I keep tripping on this bike. Well, you can't see my toe right now, but I kicked it. The reason why I'm doing this bike is it was in my way. I kept kicking the frame, and I messed up my toe, my big toe. And it's a lot better now, but I think I sprained it that last time. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, this thing has to be done. I was going to hold off on the content on it. I got to get it done. I don't even care if it runs. I don't care what happens. I just want the bike complete so I can put it out back and get it out of my way. That's all I care about. And then the DS 100, same thing. It's right in my way. I can't walk past it. And I have so much bikes and so much stuff coming in and going out. After Robert's bike, I'm going to stop with taking bikes in, and I'm just going to do what I have here, get caught up on my content, and then we'll start taking bikes in again. I think that would be the best way to go to do these bikes, because it's just, like I said, it's just me, and I'm trying to get all the stuff out and hit on all these topics. So, and you guys seem to be pretty cool with what I'm putting out, so I'm just going to keep plugging away at it as we're going, So. Whew. Did I mention I miss Florida? Oh, but it was nice. I'm still tired, though. I'm still tired. Can't wait. Can't wait for the better weather, guys. We need some temperature, some warmth. Hopefully, when I drove up here, the hot air followed me. It was a really nice day today. Got a lot of stuff done. Some problems with my truck I was working on getting that fixed. So it was working out. A lot of stuff got done. So, but anyway, guys, yeah, that's cool. If I was gonna say something too. Well, what I was gonna say, it was just spaced it. I went through so much snow and going through Pennsylvania and New York. I have a Mazda 3, 2020 Mazda 3, all-wheel drive. It was perfect. It just went right through the stuff. I did hit a couple potholes. I damaged a couple rims, but for the most part, I had no problem with this vehicle. And I have never in my entire life seen so many accidents in one stretch of road. Then I like I said, it's 22, 25 accidents. I'm not even. That's an understatement, and that's when we stopped. I think it was 25 we counted up to, and then we stopped. It was bad.
There's a bug on the tree.
Okay, then whack them.
I think it's too big.
Bring it over. It's a water bug. Bring it over to me. Bring it over to me. I'll take care of it.
The bug? I don't want to.
Then just leave it then. It was a lot of snow. Cars everywhere. It was like, oh my God. And it took me so long just to get through Pennsylvania and New York. It was just mind-numbing. And at that point, I was just done. I'm still tired. I'm exhausted right now just from driving. I was like, I came home Tuesday, and was done. I was just done. I'm still feeling it, I did some work today. I made some content. I'm not going to post it until it's finished, and which will probably be tomorrow night. And then going from there. Andrew, you gotta go brush your teeth, buddy.
He
Okay.
tried, but it was actually a stink bug.
Okay, all right. Go brush your teeth and get ready for bed. So yeah, it's been crazy. But guys, I'm gonna let you go. I am exhausted. I'm gonna go and get my little guy tucked in. But I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me and going on these adventures with me. And we got a whole bunch more. So we'll be pumping out some videos this week. We're gonna be working on finishing up the Z50 as far as I can go with it. It's not gonna be complete, but it's gonna be as far as I can go with it. And then we're back on Dave's bike getting his done. And then I got Alvin's bike up. So we have a lot of stuff to do. Robert's bike, we got Brian's bike, we got to tear his bike apart. We're probably just going to get that cylinder ripped off of Dave's bike so we can get that, not Dave, rip the cylinder off of Brian's bike so we can get that sent out to the machine shop. And then just keep going through all that. Hey, how you doing? So, thank you. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Ryan. So, once again, guys, thank you for hanging out with me and being a part of this, because without you guys, there is no YouTube. There's no channel. And I mean that. It's because of the content, because, I'm helping you guys fix your bikes. You guys are watching the channel. You guys are part of this. This is not just my channel. This is our channel. You guys are all part of this. So, once again, thank you guys. And I know I repeat that and I say that a lot, and it's because it's from the heart. Without you guys, there's no YouTube channel. It's just Kevin Bergeron fixing bikes, and you guys are what makes it. You guys are the ones I see you guys here week after week after week, commenting and thumbs up and, thumbs up to you guys. Thank you guys once again for all your support. And I really, really appreciate that. Don't think I don't. I do. Oh, we got a question here. I have a 1998 KU100. And now it's hard to, doesn't want to go to second gear. And currently have it apart. Any suggestions? Doesn't want to shift. So first thing you would do if you have a vehicle that doesn't want to shift, drain the oil into a clean, clear bucket. What you're looking for is any metal fragments, any chunks of metal, anything like that. The other thing you're going to want to do is check your clutch adjustment, check your drum, where the shifter is. Make sure your mechanism is all. So there's a drum up top with the pins in it. It's got the 5 pins, and then there's a hook that goes into it, and it turns it. What you want to make sure is that none of those pins are missing. Sometimes that plate bows out. One of the little pins are missing out of the hole, and there's only 2 gears to go onto. Basically, when you get that clutch cover off, there's a window up top where the oil pump drive gear is. Take that out, and you can look in there with a flashlight and see if your shifter forks are bent. See if the shifting forks are bent or anything like that. You basically, unless you tear it apart, you're not going to really know, unfortunately. So you're going to have to tear that clutch cover off. Here, Andrew. Drain your oil into a clear bucket. Check the condition of it. See if it had any, if it's like a milky or a coffee color, that means there was water in there. That's a problem. That could have burnt up a bearing, and then it cocks the transmission. So if you lost a transmission bearing, what will happen is the whole transmission shaft, one of them, whatever had the bad bearing, will twist and it'll break. If the bike was power shifted, there is a little brass bearing, and that right there would be, instead of being round, it'll be oblong, like oval, like egg shape, and the shaft will cock to one side, and then it will lock up the whole rest of them. There's that. Let's see, what else could there be? I always start off with the basics. First thing, drain that oil, like I said. Check your clutch adjustment, and look in that window and see if you see any shifting forks. Maybe you have a gear that's not meshing properly. Let me ask you this: is the bike running when you're trying to go into it, or are you just trying to shift where the bike is? This is a big question. I always have to ask that, because if the bike is off and you're trying to shift through all the gears, you're not going to be able to. The bike has to be running for it to go through all the gears. So start off with that. I don't know if it didn't run. Didn't run. Got it. And now it's hard to shift. So go up. Gear. Okay, yeah, definitely start with. So check that oil first. If the oil's fine and looks nice and honey gold, not black, no metal in it, then you move on to the next step. All right, guys, it is 9 o'clock, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Once again, thank you guys very much, and I will talk to you guys later. I'm out.